Hey, good afternoon. I think we got all the technology working. You know, no matter how many times I do this, there's always a new glitch to it. So whether it's the lights, the connections, whatever. And it's a great point to show you and talk to you about, pardon me while I find a place to put my cup. There's another thing that happens on these. It is how to stay calm as a leader and why it's so important. Because, I'll tell you a story. I had a boss, he's a group commander, so he wasn't my direct boss, he was one above me. And this is where I came up with the phrase and learned this phrase of don't be a trash can kicker. So in the military, used to, I don't know if they still do, used to have these metal trash cans. They're about yay high, about that big around at the top, and that kind of cone shape, but flat on the bottom, of course, and gray metal, heavy duty. Good soldier-proof trash can. I've got one in the man cave that I've had for years. It's sentimental. And this boss would literally, when he got pissed off about something, would literally kick that trash can. I mean, we're not talking about, gosh darn it. We're talking about kicking that trash can, kicking it so hard that it would go flying out of the room, out into the foyer. And by the way, if you're a 10th Special Forces group or any Special Forces group commander, you're a colonel in the Army, which means that you've been in the Army for at least 20 years. Even if you're below the zone, double, triple below the zone guy, you've still been in the Army 20 years, which means you're over 40. And oh, by the way, you're in charge of some of the elite, the top elite soldiers in the military. And you're throwing a temper tantrum like a 3-year-old, like a 2-year-old. That's what he would do. He would kick that trash can out into the hallway, and everybody knew something bad had happened with the boss. We didn't know what it was. We didn't care what it was. But it put on this show for us. It put on this show of, oh, boss is all upset. And because we're all a bunch of smart asses, you know what we'd do? We'd start making jokes. We'd laugh. And of course, the secretary, poor Doris, she would do what she does every time. She would pick up the trash can, pick up the pieces of trash, little pieces of paper and stuff that went flying all over the floor out in the foyer area, and set it by his door and wait until he calmed down, because then he'd yell for the XO, he'd yell for the 3 and the sergeant major, and cussing and yelling and putting on this big show about how bad and terrible everything was. And, we all learned that everything was bad and terrible because he was throwing a fit. But that's not how you lead. That is not what leaders do. Leaders calm down. Because here's what happens when we go trash can kick. When we kick that trash can and we blow up and we're angry and we're yelling at people, man, it does so many things. Number one, it shuts your mind down. Your mind goes from, let me look for solutions, to let me get out of the problem as quick as I can. Let me remove the problem. It goes right to this narrow focus. And I'm not talking about the good kind of narrow focus where you're focused on the problem and getting solutions. I'm talking about the bad narrow focus. And the narrow focus because I got blinders on, because I'm missing opportunities that could solve the problem, better solutions. And I go straight into reactionary mode, straight into fight or flight. And that's a problem. Because when we're in that mode, in anger mode, fight or flight, that's all we're doing is we're just rushing to the next action and rushing to the next action. It's punch back, counter punch, counter punch, counter punch. Counter punching does not work because you never get on the front foot. If you're always counter punching, you're always on the back foot. Your enemy, your adversary, if you're a counter puncher, yes, that's a great defense, right? It's a great way to defense. But if you're continuously counter punching, you are never moving forward. A counter puncher is only in reactionary mode. You stay in the boxing and MMA world, and that's in that thought process. If I'm only reacting to what you do, I can never move forward into what I want to do. When we are in anger mode and trash can kicking mode, guess what? That's all we're doing is we're counterpunching. Well, let's try this. God damn, we're angry, we're yelling, we're screaming. We're calling everybody idiots. And all we see is run away, run, run, run. There's no, what else could we do? So that's one problem. Here's the second problem. I don't know about you. I don't like getting yelled at. I think it's disrespectful. Yeah, there's a time and place. But you know what? When your boss yells and screams at you in that way, in that fashion, blows up and becomes this emotional firecracker, this emotional explosion, how does that make you feel as a team member? Oh, well, good grief. The last thing I want to do is piss the boss off. I don't want to yell and scream. I don't want them yelling at me. I especially don't want them yelling at me in front of everybody else. How embarrassing is that? To be that guy that is just, the boss is yelling and screaming at you, telling you how terrible a person you are, how much you screwed it up, how big of an idiot you are. I don't care if you are or not. But when the boss is in trash can kicking mode, all he is doing is dividing the team. He is destroying any kind of cultural effort and operation togetherness of the organization in that way. Because now everybody's afraid. And by the way, like I said, I don't like getting yelled at. I've been yelled at a lot in my life because I screwed up a lot in my life. But I never liked it. And if your boss has a tendency to be a trash can kicker, guess what you're going to do? Reel back into protection mode. Because your choice is to fight or reel back because you're in a negative state. When that boss blows up and starts yelling and screaming, by the way, if you haven't heard me talk about it, energy levels, positive and negative energy level, ask me and I'll share it with you sometime. But like energy attracts. And that like energy, whether it's positive or negative, attracts. And that negative energy of your boss blowing up and yelling and screaming and blaming everybody for everything being wrong but themselves, guess what? You as an individual in that sphere are pulled into that negativity, are pulled into that I suck. And now that culture of that organization is afraid to take action, is afraid to do anything on their own because you know what? If the boss doesn't like it, guess what he's going to do? He's going to kick that trash can again. He's going to blow up and yell and scream again and tell everybody what a bunch of idiots they are. It's only got to happen once. And if you're that person, you have shut down initiative and innovation in your organization. And when you shut down initiative and innovation in your organization, guess who's the only one that has initiative and innovation in your organization? You. Because you think you're the smartest person. You think you're the only one. It's everybody else is being a bunch of idiots. They're being a bunch of fools, and they're the ones screwing it up. As a leader, you cannot perform that way. Leaders do not do that. That's what angry people do. People who are not self-aware, people who do not understand how their actions influence others' abilities to perform. Now, let's go back to Otis getting yelled at. Do I perform better when I get yelled at? No. Have I been yelled at a lot? Yeah, go back to football and any other things many times in the Army doing something stupid. Did I deserve to be criticized? Did I deserve to be told I screwed it up? Yeah. But is that the best method? Let me give you another example, another Special Forces example. This is a great one. I had a boss. This time it was my direct boss. He was the battalion commander. I'll share his name, Joe Whalen. Not Joe, Tim Whalen. Tim Whalen. Joe's a friend of mine. Tim Whalen was a battalion commander. I was his operations officer. Tim had this tendency to not be around, right? Tim would go out and find other things to do besides be a staff officer, which is great. I didn't mind it. Looking back on it, great job, Tim. There was one time that something came down from our Harrier headquarters and a decision needed to be made. I was the one in charge because the boss, I couldn't find the boss, couldn't get a hold of him, said, screw it, I'll make that decision. Next morning, boss shows up, I'm walking down the hallway, he's walking down the hallway the other way, hey sir, how's it going? Otis, hey, come here. Comes up to me, nice and close, says, hey, Otis, that decision, that phone call yesterday afternoon from a group about A and B and who's going to do what. Did you make the decision on that? I said, yes, sir. Yes, sir, I did. He looked at me, took a breath, paused, said, don't do that again. I want to retain that authority and that decision. And I said, roger that, sir. How about that? Holy crap. But you know what he could have done? He could have come yelling and screaming into my office, could have come yelling and screaming, where the hell's McGregor at? You get that guy in here. And what good would that have done? That would have just made me even madder and made me disrespect him and lose my loyalty. I would have kept my respect for his rank and his position, but him as a man, I would have lost all of it. And when you are outside the military and there is no law that says you have to follow the orders, if you are a trash can kicker, you are edging your team to leave. Not only are you putting the ones who stick around in a position where they don't want to say or do anything because they're going to get yelled at, you're pushing the ones who have the gumption and attitude and self-awareness for themselves that they know they don't want to be in that environment to walk away from it and tell you that you know what. And maybe punch you in the face, you get in my face. I don't know. I've learned to control that now. Because first off, I was never a trash can kicker. Have I lost my cool as a leader? Oh yeah. I'm human, emotional. That's what's wrong with it. Now, here's what you got to do to prevent it. Because if you do that, if you're that guy or that gal, because I see some women that throw a temper tantrum too in the business world. And it ain't no better. Matter of fact, it's even uglier. If you're that guy, I'm going to tell you how to fix it right now. It's simple. And it's an old principle. The old principle I learned many years ago when I was just starting to understand military operations. When I was just starting to develop my skills as a young infantry soldier. I was just starting to do that. I learned this technique. And it's very simple. Matter of fact, I'm going to write it down on the board just to help you out on it because it's so simple. It's a metaphor, but it works because what you're going to do when you find that's happening, you're the one in charge, and you find you're in this situation. The first thing you're going to do, don't trip over the cords. That's not part of it. The first thing you're going to do is stop. Stop. Number 2. Face out. What does that mean? What does face out mean? I mean, come on, notice. Do I go over to the window, face out? No. What I'm talking about is you're going to stop. Catch yourself before you blow. Catch yourself before that gasket goes. Hold. Now, when I say face out, what I'm telling you to do is, all right, let's assess the environment. Let's assess the situation. Then we're going to do number 3. Take a knee. So what does that mean? We had some friends of ours on the podcast just a couple of days ago. It'll come out next week. You'll see it. Serena and Liz. And we were talking about this breath work. You take a pause. I stop. I catch myself. I stop. All right, let's assess the situation. And as I'm assessing the situation, I'm going to take a knee. And what does taking a knee mean? I'm going to catch my breath. I'm going to lower my heart rate because I don't want all that anger, adrenaline, the cortisone going to my brain and putting my brain into that narrow focus. I want to stay open to ideas and thoughts. That's why I'm taking a knee. Step number 4. My favorite. Drink water. What the heck? Yeah, that's a literal. Drink water. Why? Because it's going to calm you down. When we're angry and we're all upset and we're tight, get that breathing, calm down. Get the heart rate down. Take a breath. Drink some water. Take care of yourself. Get hydrated, literally hydrated, before we go on to the next step. Because if it's really bad, it is a really, really bad thing. Like one of those, oh my God, we're going to go bankrupt. Everybody's going to lose their job, going to jail. And we think we're in that panic type of mode, that belief that everything's going to go into hell in a handbasket. Got to do number 5. Change your socks. Now, I'm not suggesting that you keep an extra pair of socks in your desk drawer. However, if that's the reminder you need to go through these 5 steps, stop, face out, take a knee, drink water, change your socks. What we're doing is we're resetting our mind and our body because it's out of control. If you're a trash can kicker, you have lost control of your ability to find and hear solutions. But if you take this, and oh, by the way, there's no time on these, right? I'm not saying this is 2 minutes, this is 5, this is 1, this is 10, 15. No. But if you think about these 5 steps, stop, face out this way for me, face out, take a knee, I'm breathing, I'm catching my breath, I'm continuing to assess the environment and the situation and the understanding of what's going on. And I'm going to drink water, I'm going to take care of myself, take a little water. Take care of myself, make sure my mind, my body are right. And if I'm still feeling it, still not quite clear and clean, I'm going to change my socks. I'm going to take that extra moment. Maybe even step away from everything. Go to the gym. That's what changing your socks feels like. It's like going to the gym when you're out on patrol and you're muddy and nasty and feeling like crap and worn out, and you put a fresh pair of socks on, even just a dry pair of socks. It makes all the difference in the world. And that changes your mental state. And when you change your mental state and we get out of that negative energy that is puts you in this fight or flight and everybody's either screwing you over or you're screwing it all up because you're the idiot, can't come up with solutions that way. But when we do these 5 steps, even if you just think about them in your mind, stop, face out. We'll do it this way. We'll count. Stop. Face out. Take a knee. Drink water. Change socks. You do those 5 things, every time you get ready to rear back and kick that trash can, you go, whoa, stop. Face out. Take a knee. Drink water, change your socks. You will change your whole outlook because now I've reset my mind. I've reset my mind and moved out of this anger, this thing that I just want to destroy, to what's the opportunity? How can I fix this? How can this be better for us as an organization, for us as a team? I don't need to put on a show. I can do all these things rapidly. And the more I understand these things, and the more I shift to a positive outlook, the more opportunities I see, and the better my team will function, because now I will be open to listen for ideas and thoughts and innovation from my team. Because again, as a leader, what are you leading if you're not leading a group of individuals, your team? And if you're not giving them the opportunity to participate and do their job and provide input to you, you ain't leading. You're just some dude in charge, some dude who signs the paycheck, some dude who signs the time card. Don't be that person. Be a leader. Be a leader for your organization. If you are a trash can kicker, don't do it anymore. Catch yourself. Are you going to slip up? Oh, yeah. Oh, hell yeah. I've been doing this stuff a long time. Do I get angry? Yeah. Do I blow up? Not very often anymore. I've been doing it. And I know that does me and my team and my tribe zero benefit for me to do that. So I've learned to adjust. I've learned to do this very simple 5-step process in my mind. And by doing that, I break that cycle. I break that anger. I break the desire to display to everybody around me that I'm upset. That, whoa, look at me. Otis is really pissed off. I want lots of attention. That's what a trash can kicker's doing. Woe is me. Yeah, they're actually crying for help And then when somebody tries to give it, because they're a trash can kicker, they're not going to accept it. They're going to push back and tell them that they're idiots, that they're probably the ones that screwed it up. So the next time you feel that anger coming on, take those 5 steps. Stop, face out, take a knee, drink some water, and change your socks. You get to that point, number 5, whoa, a little bit of behind the scenes look there. Watch out for that cord, Otis. You do that, and don't know why it's in the way now. You do that, and you know what? You will see more opportunities for solutions. And if you want to learn more about how to be a great leader, how to avoid becoming a trash can kicker, even if you're not a trash can kicker, you just want to be a great leader for your team, go to 10xyourteam.net. That is 10xyourteam.net. Thank you, Mr. Cuckoo, to remind us that it's 1:30. And we've got 3 options for you. Number 1, the show. That's what we call it. That's our do-it-yourself. We've got our podcast. We've got the YouTube channel. Some of you are watching us on YouTube right now. There's a lot of great information from our guests, from myself, from Camden, on how you can become a great leader. Check that out. If you're not a subscriber to 10X Your Team on YouTube, please become a subscriber. That's our do-it-yourself. The system is our leadership development system, and that is a done with you. What we will do is train your team to become great leaders, because the best team members are the best leaders. The best leaders are the best team members. And the way that you create leaders within your team is by helping train them. Don't just leave it up for them to figure it out. Leadership's a skill. Give them the advantage. Give your whole team, your whole organization the advantage to succeed by teaching them how to be a leader. That's what our leadership development system does. It helps you grow leaders within your team. Leaders who identify problems and innovate and implement solutions. That's how you create success in your organization. And finally, our service, the service, done for you. That's fractional COOs. We provide fractional COOs to small businesses to enable that CEO founder to get his head out of the day-to-day operations and look up and out, as you should as a CEO. Because as a CEO founder, there is nobody in the organization that can sell the organization as well as you can. Nobody that has that inherent knowledge and that passion like you, the CEO founder. And if you spend all your time running the day-to-day with your head down in the weeds, your business will no longer grow. You will plateau because it can only go so far until you step back out and look up and out as a CEO. And that's why we provide the fractional COO service to enable your team and your organization to continue to grow. So, to review, the show, 10X Your Team podcast, go to YouTube, look us up, subscribe. The system, vapor lock. The system, that's our leadership development system, Green Beret Leadership Program. And finally, the service, that's our fractional COO, that's the done for you portion. Now, thank you again. I see several comments from folks. I appreciate you all joining us. Yes, sir. I love sharing what I know. And if you missed any of this, it's on YouTube. We'll be posting clips on social media, but you can catch this entire Masterclass on our YouTube channel to review in case you forget what those 5 steps are. Because those right there, thinking about those will keep you from losing your cool. It'll help you stay on target and enable you and your team to have greater success. So thank you again for being here, for your comments. I always appreciate hearing from folks. We'll do this again next month. Keep your eyes out for our next master class in August. Thanks.